Hello and welcome to Quays News. I'm Ewan Wishart.
And I'm Effie Faraza. On today's show,
a nursing student from Salford plans on doing her work placement on the same ward that cared for her while she was in a coma during lockdown.
I was asleep through COVID, basically, so I don't really know what any of it means. Like, things have changed so much from when I was in education before to now. Everything's changed, so every day is different to what I'm used to.
a man from Greater Manchester has been sentenced to 8 months in prison after breaching his sexual harm prevention order.
And a man from Stretford has written a letter to Pope Francis and protested an abandoned graveyard in Eccles, which he claims has turned into a drug den.
And today marks the first month of Ramadan, with Muslims fasting from sunrise to sunset each day.
Imam Fahim Ahmed from Manchester Central Mosque reflects on the month of Ramadan.
It's a month in which Muslims around the world will be observing fasts, wherein from the time of sunrise till sunset they'll be abstaining from food and drink. It's also a month of worship where Muslims will try to better themselves in terms of their religion and just generally as a human being as well. One of the main objectives, though, aside from the worship, is for us to truly appreciate and be grateful to God for the favours and the wealth that we do enjoy. For example, we have food and drink at home, but by fasting the entire day, perhaps we get a sense of what those who are in need, those who don't have what we have, go through.
So Afifa, could you share some of your experiences with Ramadan?
Yes, well, I've been doing this for as long as I can remember, so I don't really know what to say. I mean, you put me in the spot there a little bit. But yeah, Ramadan, it's a spiritual kind of cleanse of the soul. It's amazing. You can really feel your soul inside. Just recently in London, they had the light up show of the Ramadan lights, like they do for Christmas, they did it for Ramadan. So yeah.
Very interesting. Thanks for sharing that with us. And now a story that's come full circle, as a student nurse at Salford University plans on doing her work placement on the ward that cared for her while she was in a coma.
Our reporter Jessica Candy spoke to Mafata Sharif about what it was like to wake up for a coma with the world in lockdown.
Training to care for those in need in the hospital that helped her in her greatest hour of need. Mafata contracted encephalitis in 2019 and was put into an induced coma. She woke up in spring 2020 in the middle of the COVID pandemic.
Waking up to the pandemic, I was so confused. Everyone was talking about this COVID, and I was asleep through COVID, basically, so I don't really know what any of it means. Like, things have changed so much from when I was in education before to now. Everything's changed, so every day is different to what I'm used to.
The symptoms of encephalitis are similar to non-epileptic stress disorder. This meant that Mafata's diagnosis was delayed as it was masked through academic stress.
Literally the day of that, I came from my interview from the University of Plymouth to become a medical student. Literally on that same day, I came home and that started happening. So according to the doctors, they do think that it was because of the stress, and to be honest, I do believe that because it all just lines up.
The medical condition inflames the brain due to an infection such as a virus or a bacteria, resulting in a weak immune system attacking healthy cells. Mafata was in the hospital for several months recovering from encephalitis, as well as adjusting to the new reality of the pandemic. She is now determined to use her experience to help others at the place where she was helped.
So I will be doing placement there. I might even be doing placement in the ward that I was at. So I am very excited. I'm looking forward to working with the nurses that took care of me, and I'm sure they'll be very surprised when they see me walk in my uniform on the first day.
A man from Eccles has been sentenced to 8 months in prison after breaking his sexual harm prevention order. Our reporter, Leonie Husselby, went to find out more.
A 54-year-old man from Greater Manchester has been sentenced to 8 months in prison after breaching a sexual harm prevention order. Paul Hilton remained still whilst the judge heard his previous convictions and refused to lift his head up while sat in the dock. Hilton has 3 previous sexual convictions. In 2019 he was caught by a paedophile hunting group called Stung by Confronted, whom he admitted he was aware his actions could send him to jail. He appeared in court today as part of his sexual harm prevention order is the owning of a smartphone without making police aware in order for an app to be installed to prevent the defendant from accessing inappropriate materials. However, Hilton did not make police aware he had purchased a smartphone and was using it to watch pornography. Police discovered his ownership of the phone after doing a polygraph test where Hilton agreed to cooperate and admit to the existence of the phone. His defence barrister presented to the court that Hilton had not made a lawful acknowledgement of his smartphone as he was not using it for reasons he should not be. Her Honour Judge Baxter replied, well, why was he trying to hide it? On his previous conviction, Hilton had been sent to the Horizon programme, which is a programme for sexual offenders of 18 or over to re-evaluate life choices and rebuild their life. As the sexual harm prevention order is an indefinite status, Judge Baxter could not be certain of the protection of the public if Hilton was not given jail time. Her Honour Judge Baxter concluded his sentence to 12 months in prison, but due to his guilty plea he will serve 8. He will serve 4 months in prison and 4 months on licence. After Hilton was sentenced, he was taken from the dock and down the stairs by the custody officer, with his eyes never leaving the floor. He went quietly and willingly.
None of us are strangers to the effects of potholes, but I'm sure those who have been affected by the issue will be pleased to hear that the grant of £700,000 has been given to Salford Council by the Department of Transport via the Pothole Action Funds.
There has been a pothole pandemic surrounding Salford, but the Chancellor is now set to tackle all of these issues.
Nearly £700,000 is set to be spent repairing potholes in just Salford itself, out of £15.5 million given to Greater Manchester.
Whoa!
Some residents of Salford believe not enough is being done to solve this issue.
An absolute disgrace. We're paying road tax and want to know where all this money's going. It's ruining cars, tyres. It's just awful. And when they do the repairs, they don't do them properly.
Yeah.
They're just, it's just a botch job personally.
According to a report by Go Compare, Salford was ranked 22nd for number of potholes reported in 2018 to 2020, with an overall number of 9,329.
Why? They do a repair and then a month later they, the roads are just as bad. Barton Swing Bridge, for example, they put all, they've gone over it, they closed it, did some resurfacing, and it's back to normal.
I have tried to reach out to the council, however, nobody has agreed to speak on the matter.
Doing something, but probably not enough, no, because I still see them everywhere.
Evie Rafferty, Quays News.
A local historian has written to one very influential figure to help clean up an abandoned graveyard in Eccles, as he described it as a drug den.
Our reporter Johnny went to see the graveyard.
A short walk from this church in Trafford across the Burton Swing Bridge lies a graveyard, which one local historian is hoping that none other than Pope Francis will help him save. Pictures show the graveyard was once well kept and visible. Now it's overgrown, and from the street, the average passerby wouldn't realise that this is a resting place of up to 270 people. The Burton upon Irwell Roman Catholic graveyard has been used for burial since 1828, but this once well-kept and well-loved space is now a hotbed for drug usage and antisocial behaviour. This has caused one Stretford historian to call in the big guns to help restore this space. Craig Ellis, who's 52 and from Stretford, in a statement said, "I'm astonished that no one seems to want to take responsibility for this graveyard. There are priests and entire families buried there. It's very sad. I've exhausted every avenue to try and get something done, and the only person I can think who might be able to help me now is Pope Francis, so I'm writing to him." The de Trafford family, who were big landowners around the Peel Green area of Eccles for hundreds of years, owned the site, but when the family offloaded the burial ground to the Catholic Church, the necessary paperwork for the ownership to be secured was never completed, meaning that the graveyard is now owned by no one. Salford City Council have confirmed that the site is not their responsibility, a spokesperson said. It's a Roman Catholic site and it's the responsibility of the diocese, so not something we can comment on.
Ewan, have you heard that robots have come to Manchester?
I have. These robots are being used by Co-op to deliver people shopping to them.
Our reporters Ellie Johnstone and Cara Ostick went to find out what people think about this.
Robots that deliver your co-op groceries have hit Manchester after the new delivery service was first trialled in Milton Keynes. It was recently introduced to Trafford, however is expected to hit many more co-op stores around Manchester, with it reaching up to 24,000 residents. The robots, known as Starship robots, are battery powered and travel at a walking pace of 4 kilometres, with the delivery fee starting at just 99p. We asked the public what they think about this new contact-free delivery service.
I'm a parent, I've got young children, so the odd time I realise late at night we've run out of milk or bread or something, it might be handy rather than me having to go out if there was a delivery service like that.
Well, I can see it fraught with all sorts of problems, if I'm honest.
What sort of problems do you think?
Well, I think if you're walking down the street and there's suddenly this little thing, what's to stop somebody just opening it?
What is your opinion on having the robot delivery service come to Salford?
I mean, it's pretty cool. I mean, we don't have to stress about going to the store to get stuff. You just expect it to come to you. It's nice.
It's probably a little bit of both, but probably on balance a little bit more negative, I would say.
So there's definitely going to be some cons that come with it as well.
Yes.
Would you personally use the service?
Probably not, because we would more likely use home delivery through the van.
Yeah. At first it might feel awkward because people are not accustomed to this type of new innovation. So.
And next, a recent survey by YouGov has discovered that more 18 to 24-year-olds are watching TV with subtitles than without.
Our reporter Lewis Henderson has found out why the students of Salford use subtitles.
Subtitles, words on the screen to help us understand what is happening and being said. So a recent study from YouGov showed that 61% of 18 to 24-year-olds watch TV with the subtitles on. But why are they doing this? Let's go find out.
Probably watched something in a foreign language and obviously had to have the subtitles on, but probably since then I just haven't really turned it off. And when you're kind of watching something, as now with many young people, you're kind of distracted by a lot of stuff. You're distracted by your phone, you're distracted by other things. Having the subtitles there is kind of like a good way to keep the distraction. Like, you can still get distracted by stuff, but you can still keep an eye on what they're saying.
Without being too judgmental about the way that young people consume media, I think a lot of the time I'm also on my phone while I'm watching TV, so it might be that switching between phone and subtitles I can catch up. If I've missed something that I've heard, I can read it on the screen again, and it's just that extra level of clarity. And
I feel like when older people watch TV more, their main focus is on the TV, so they don't feel the need for subtitles as much as young people maybe need to.
And have you been using subtitles for quite a long time, or was it just a recent?
No, a long time that I've been using them. My dad always used to pick on me for using them, like, you're not deaf, why are you using the subtitles? But it's just something that I find a lot more comfortable to use to watch TV using subtitles.
So there we have it, why young people use subtitles.
It's our last Quays news before Easter, so come with us on an Easter egg hunt.
Let's go.
Where are they?
Oh, I think I found one.
Wow. There's another one as well. Crazy. I hope you're hungry, FIFA. Oh, wow. This is incredible. Wait, is this all the Easter eggs, or is there more? Oh, aren't we silly gooses?
We missed it.
Oh, wow.
We missed it. We went right past it.
Mustn't have worn my contacts today.
So now we've got our Easter eggs. It's time for Ewan to try them. Unfortunately, I can't because I'm fasting. So So while Ewan opens and tries the eggs, did you know that Easter eggs make up 10% of chocolate spent annually in the UK? We thought it'd only be right to see if there's any way you can save money on Easter eggs this Easter. Try the eggs, Ewan.
It does look nice, to be fair. I'm hungry as well, so. Yeah, that's classic.
Is it?
That's classic. I recognise that taste.
Try this one.
I'm gonna really try and speak without my mouth open, yeah. Right, no, I'm still chewing. Right, 1 second, guys. Bear with.
I can tell you're enjoying the chocolate.
To be fair, that's all right.
Is it?
That's all right.
Can you taste the difference?
I think that's Cadbury's, because I recognise the taste. But that's actually okay. So, happy days. Happy
Great.
days.
So you...
And that's all we've got time for today. I'm going to go and finish these Easter eggs. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.